I promise I'll pay you back when I grow up. The young black boy's voice, clear yet full of determination, rang out in the quiet of the convenience store. All eyes fell on the scrawny, 8-year-old boy, who was clutching a newborn baby in his arms. The boy's name was Marcus, and his little brother David was wailing from hunger. William Thompson, a famous but reclusive tech billionaire, turned around. He had been on his way home and stopped at a convenience store after a tense meeting. But Marcus's words had caught his attention. He saw a fortitude in the boy's eyes, a strength he rarely witnessed even in adults. "Hey, kid," the cashier's voice snapped, laced with irritation. "This isn't a playground. If you're not buying anything, you need to leave." Marcus flinched, pulling David tighter against his chest. He lowered his head, about to turn away, his small shoulders trembling with humiliation. "Wait." William stepped forward, his voice deep and warm. "The boy isn't doing anything wrong. He just wants to buy milk for his brother." The cashier was stunned when she recognized William. "Oh, Mr. Thompson, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize." William paid her no mind. He knelt to Marcus's eye level. "Hi, I'm William. What's your name?" "I'm Marcus, and this is my brother David," Marcus replied in a small voice, still not daring to look William in the eye. "David looks pretty hungry, doesn't he?" William said with a gentle smile. "How about we go get some milk for him together?" Marcus looked up, his eyes shining. He nodded eagerly. William led Marcus to the milk aisle, choosing the best formula for newborns. He also picked up diapers, bread, canned soup, and a few other necessities. Marcus followed behind him, his eyes never leaving the items in William's hands. At the checkout counter, Marcus solemnly placed the can of formula on the counter. "Thank you, sir," the boy said, his voice full of gratitude. "I promise I'll pay you back when I'm grown up. I promise." William nodded, smiling. "I believe you." He paid for the items, then walked with Marcus and David out of the store. A bitter wind blew past, and Marcus shivered. William took off his expensive wool coat and draped it over the boy's shoulders. "Thank you, sir," Marcus whispered, feeling the warmth from the coat. "Where do you live?" William asked. Marcus hesitated for a moment, then pointed toward a bridge in the distance. "Under the bridge. My mom and I usually sleep there." William's heart ached. He couldn't believe a child like Marcus had to live in such conditions. He decided to walk Marcus all the way there. Under the bridge, the air was damp and cold. Lisa, Marcus's mother, was curled up in an old blanket, racked by deep coughs. When she saw William, she looked frightened and pulled David protectively into her arms. "Mom, don't be scared." Marcus ran to his mother's side. "This man is nice. He bought milk for David." Lisa looked at William with suspicious eyes. "What do you want?" "I don't want anything," William said, keeping a respectful distance. "I just want to help. I'll come back tomorrow with more food and warm clothes. And if you're willing, we can talk about finding a better place for you to stay." Lisa said nothing, only watching William in silence. William said goodbye to Marcus and left. That night, in his luxurious penthouse, William couldn't sleep. He realized that true wealth wasn't money, but peace of mind and the fulfillment that comes from helping someone in need. The next morning, William returned to the space under the bridge with a hot breakfast and new clothes for Marcus and Lisa. But he didn't see anyone. The place where they had been staying now held only a few scraps of old newspaper. His heart sank. He drove all over the city, searching for them in shelters and soup kitchens. But to no avail, they had vanished. William didn't give up. He asked an old friend, a former police officer named Mike Sandler, for help. With his experience and connections, Mike quickly located Lisa. She was at a free clinic downtown, in a state of panic and exhaustion. William went there at once. When Lisa saw him, she burst into tears. "I'm sorry," she said, her voice trembling. "I didn't want to leave, but I was scared. I was afraid you would be like the others, that you would demand something in return." "I'm not like them, Lisa," William said, his voice full of compassion. "I just want to help. Where are Marcus and David?" "I left them at a church nearby," Lisa said, pointing down the street. "I didn't want them to see me in this state." William and Lisa went to the church and picked up Marcus and David. When Marcus saw William, he was overjoyed. The boy ran and threw his arms around him. William decided to take the entire family to his penthouse, at least for the time being. William's penthouse was like another world to Marcus and Lisa. Everything was clean, luxurious, and warm. Marcus ran all over, exploring every nook and cranny. Lisa, though still reserved, also felt more at ease. William had prepared a sumptuous meal, and for the first time in a long while, they sat and ate together like a family. In the following days, William dedicated his time to caring for Lisa and the children. He bought them new clothes, toys for Marcus and David, and made sure they always had enough food. Lisa slowly regained her health and spirits. She began to talk more, sharing stories about her life, her hardships, and her fears. William listened patiently, without judgment, simply being there to support her. Marcus and William grew even closer. William taught Marcus to read and play chess, and told the boys stories about his travels. Marcus, with his vivid imagination, drew pictures for William depicting their adventures together. One evening, as they were sitting together, Lisa asked William about his family. William told her about his late wife, about the loneliness he had endured. For the first time, Lisa felt a deep connection to William. She realized that behind his wealthy and successful exterior, he too was a man with his own sorrows, who longed to be loved. Their peaceful life was shattered when Tyrone, David's father and Lisa's abusive ex-boyfriend, appeared. He had tracked Lisa down and came right to William's penthouse to demand money. He stood at the door, banging on it violently, his voice full of menace. "Open the door, Lisa! I know you're in there! Give me the money!" With Mike's help, William confronted Tyrone. "You're trespassing on private property," William said, his voice cold and resolute. "If you don't leave immediately, I will call the police." Though furious, Tyrone didn't dare do anything against William's firm stance in Mike's presence. He muttered a few threats before leaving, but William knew he wouldn't give up so easily. Tyrone didn't give up. He harassed Lisa relentlessly, making threatening phone calls and even stalking her whenever she went out. Lisa lived in constant fear. The trauma of her past resurfaced, causing sleepless nights and panic attacks. She was startled by the slightest noise, and her eyes were always filled with anxiety. William and Mike decided they had to take action. "Lisa, we need to file for a restraining order," Mike said, his tone serious. "It's the only way to protect you and the children from him." But will it be safe?" Lisa asked, her voice trembling. "He won't leave us alone." "We will protect you, Lisa," William said, taking her hand to give her confidence. "I'll hire the best lawyer to protect you and the children. You are not alone." Though terrified, Lisa knew she couldn't keep running. She agreed to file the petition. The court hearing was tense. With deceitful words, Tyrone tried to slander Lisa and win custody of David. He told fabricated stories about Lisa being an irresponsible mother who had abandoned her children. But with the support of William and her lawyer, Lisa bravely faced him. She told her entire story, of the years of abuse, of the fear and desperation she had endured. Her testimony, along with the evidence Mike had gathered, convinced the court. In the end, justice was served. The court issued a permanent restraining order, forbidding Tyrone from coming near Lisa and the children. Lisa broke down crying in William's arms, tears of relief and victory. Marcus, though he didn't understand everything, could sense the change in the atmosphere. He ran to hug his mother, a radiant smile on his face. The fight was over. They had won. After the trial, their lives returned to a state of peace, but this time, it was a true peace, one no longer haunted by fear. With her newfound confidence, Lisa decided to start a new life. She enrolled in a baking course at a local vocational school and began to dream of opening her own bakery. William, ever her supporter, helped her find a suitable storefront in a bustling neighborhood and invested in her business. Lisa's bakery, Sweet Beginnings, quickly became popular. Her creations were not only delicious but also carried a story of resilience and hope. Lisa transformed into a successful, confident woman and an inspiration to many. She often shared her story with customers, and her shop became a place that not only sold pastries but also spread tales of overcoming adversity. Marcus, with his artistic talent, painted pictures to decorate the shop, creating a warm and unique atmosphere that drew in many customers. Through all the ups and downs, William and Lisa finally acknowledged their feelings for each other. They were in love, not out of gratitude or pity, but because of a kinship between two souls, because they had weathered so many storms together. They decided to marry in a small, cozy ceremony, witnessed by Marcus, David, Mike, and a few close friends. Marcus, looking dapper in a little suit, was the ring bearer, beaming with pride as he watched his mother's happy day. David, with a mischievous grin, was the one tossing flower petals, his laughter echoing through the room. It was a joyous day, a new start for a new family, a family built on a foundation of love, trust, and kindness. Many years passed, and their family lived happily together. William and Lisa had another child, a daughter named Hope, a beautiful and intelligent little girl who brought more joy and laughter to their home. Marcus became a renowned artist, his works often telling stories of kindness and resilience, of lives that were changed by compassion. David, with his brilliant mind, became a talented engineer, always finding ways to use technology to help the less fortunate, developing many useful applications for the community. Hope, with her compassionate heart, became a social activist, fighting for the rights of the vulnerable and continuing her parents' legacy. William, though still a billionaire, had found true wealth in his family and in helping others. He established the Marcus's Promise Foundation, a non-profit organization dedicated to helping homeless and disadvantaged children, true to Marcus's promise from that day. Marcus's simple promise, the promise of a little boy, had become a legacy, a testament to the power of kindness and love. And their story, a story that began with a fateful encounter, became a legend, a reminder that even in the darkest of circumstances, the light of hope and love always exists, and it can change the entire world. Life at the house in Pasadena settled into a gentle rhythm, filled with laughter and warmth. Marcus and David, now in a safe and stable environment, began to thrive, both physically and emotionally. Marcus, with his rich imagination, transformed the backyard into his own private kingdom, where butterflies were his subjects and the rose bushes were his castles. He spent hours drawing and writing, chronicling his adventures in a journal, its pages filled with dreams and hopes. David, with his gummy smile and big round eyes, was the center of everyone's attention, bringing joy and laughter to the home, the pure laughter of a child who is loved and protected. Lisa, with the unwavering support of William and Mike, began her healing journey in earnest. She joined group therapy sessions, where she found empathy and strength from women in similar situations, women who had also walked through darkness with her. She also enrolled in a vocational course at a community center, learning how to bake and make coffee, new skills that helped her rediscover the joy in life. William helped her find a part-time job at a nonprofit cafe, where she could apply her newly learned skills and gradually regain her confidence, one step at a time. Every morning, William would take Marcus to school and David to daycare, then drop Lisa off at the cafe. In the afternoon, he would pick them all up, and the family would have dinner together, sharing stories from their day, simple yet priceless moments where they felt like a true family, a family she had never dared to dream of. However, life was not always serene. Though Tyrone was in custody and under a restraining order, fear still lingered in Lisa's mind, like a scar that refused to fade. She still flinched at an unexpected knock on the door, still checked the locks multiple times before bed, and sometimes she still had nightmares about the past. William understood that healing takes time, and he remained patiently by her side, comforting and reassuring her. One day, Lisa received a letter from Tyrone's lawyer. He was appealing the verdict and demanding visitation rights for David. Lisa was terrified, her face went pale, and the old fear resurfaced, threatening to shatter the peace they had fought so hard to build. William reassured her, promising to hire the best lawyer to protect her and the children, to not let anyone harm them. Mike also pledged to support them in any way he could, from gathering evidence to providing legal counsel. The legal battle began anew, fraught with hardship and challenges. Lisa had to confront the painful memories of her past, of Tyrone's threats and violence. There were times she wanted to give up, to run away again, to disappear from the world. But looking at Marcus and David, looking at William's resilience, she found the strength to continue, to fight for her children's future. Marcus, young as he was, could sense the tension. He began to draw darker pictures, his art reflecting the fear and anxiety in his heart. William spent more time with Marcus, talking to him about courage and fortitude, helping him understand that it was okay to be scared, as long as he didn't give up, as long as he knew he would always have his family by his side. The trial was tense, lasting for days. Tyrone, with a stone-faced expression and blatant lies, tried to slander Lisa and win custody of David. He hired skilled lawyers, attempting to prove that Lisa was an unfit mother, that she was a weak and unstable woman. But with the support of her lawyer and William, Lisa stood firm. She bravely told her story, concealing neither her pain nor her vulnerability, unafraid of judgment. She spoke of the long nights spent sleeping under a bridge, of the terror of being found by Tyrone, of her relentless efforts to protect her children, and of the boundless love she had for Marcus and David. Her testimony touched the hearts of the jury, moving them to understanding and compassion. William also testified, recounting how he met Marcus and Lisa, their resilience, and his desire to help them build a better life, a life they deserved. In the end, justice was served. The court denied Tyrone's petition and issued a permanent restraining order, forbidding him from ever coming near Lisa and the children. Lisa broke down crying in William's arms, tears of relief and happiness, the tears of a woman who had triumphed over her fate. Marcus, though he didn't understand everything, could sense the change in the atmosphere. He ran to hug his mother and William, a radiant smile on his face, a smile of peace and happiness. It was a victory not only in court but in spirit, a crucial turning point in Lisa's healing journey, and a testament to the power of love and courage. After the trial, their lives returned to a state of peace, a complete and total peace. Lisa continued her work at the cafe, and she also began to volunteer at the community center, helping women in situations similar to her own, sharing her story to inspire hope in others. Marcus continued with school, becoming an excellent student, especially in art. His drawings were now filled with color and joy, depicting a bright and hopeful world, a world he had once only dared to dream of. William remained an indispensable part of their lives. He was not just a financial supporter, but a friend, a mentor, and a member of the family. He spent more time with Marcus and David, teaching Marcus to play chess, reading to David before bed, and exploring the world with them. He realized that helping Lisa and her children had given him a sense of purpose that money could not buy, a meaning deeper and more fulfilling than anything else. His penthouse was no longer empty. It was filled with laughter, love, and warmth. He had found a family, a true home, a place where he belonged. As time passed, the relationship between William and Lisa gradually changed. What began as gratitude and trust blossomed into something deeper, a sincere and enduring love. They spent more and more time together, sharing stories, dreams, and even their most private fears. William realized that Lisa wasn't just a strong and resilient woman, but also a gentle, intelligent, and deeply compassionate one, a woman who had endured great suffering yet still retained a kind heart. Lisa, in turn, saw in William not just a generous billionaire, but a lonely man who longed for love and connection, a man who had opened his heart to welcome her and her children. One evening, after Marcus and David were fast asleep, William and Lisa sat on the porch, gazing at the city sparkling with lights below, a romantic and peaceful scene. Lisa told William about her dreams, about wanting to open a small bakery where she could create delicious pastries and bring joy to people, a place where she could share her story. William listened intently, his eyes full of admiration, and he promised to help her make that dream a reality, not just with money, but with his support and trust. When Lisa finished, William took her hand, a gentle but meaningful grasp. "Lisa," he said, his voice deep, warm, and full of emotion. "I love you. I love you for who you are, for your resilience and your kindness." Lisa looked at him, her eyes welling with tears, tears of happiness. "I love you too, William. I love you because you gave me and my children a new life, a new hope. I love you because you believed in me." They kissed under the moonlight, a kiss of love, hope, and a bright future, a kiss that marked a new beginning for them both. Marcus and David, young as they were, also sensed the change in the relationship between William and Lisa. Marcus, with his sensitivity, drew a picture of William and Lisa holding hands, with Marcus and David standing beside them, everyone smiling, a picture full of color and joy. He gave the drawing to William and said, "You're my dad. I'm so happy you're my dad." William hugged Marcus tightly, his heart overflowing with a happiness he had never felt before. David, though not yet speaking, would often crawl over to William, clapping his hands and giggling, as if he too understood the family's joy. William and Lisa decided to get married. It was a small, intimate wedding, attended by Mike, his wife, and a few close friends who had witnessed their journey. Marcus was the ring bearer, and David was the flower boy, both incredibly proud of their roles. Lisa wore a simple white dress, but she was radiant, her beauty emanating from her confidence and happiness. William wore an elegant suit, and he looked happier than ever, a brilliant smile on his face. In his vows, William said, "I once thought my life was complete, that there was nothing left to search for, but you and the children have given me a new meaning, a new purpose. I promise to love you, to protect you, and to always be by your side, forever, until my last breath." Lisa, too, vowed to love William and to build a happy family with him, a family filled with love and laughter. Lisa's bakery, Sweet Beginnings, became a major success, not just in Pasadena but across Los Angeles. Her creations were not only delicious but also carried a story of resilience and hope, drawing in countless customers. Lisa became a successful, confident woman and an inspiration to many, often invited to events to share her story. Marcus grew into a talented and compassionate young man. He attended a prestigious art school and became a renowned painter, his works often telling stories of survival, courage, and love that touched the hearts of millions. David, with his intelligence and sense of humor, became a brilliant computer engineer, always finding ways to use technology to help the less fortunate, developing many useful applications for the community. William and Lisa had another child, a daughter named Hope, a beautiful and bright little girl who brought new joy to the family and served as a symbol of hope in the future. Their family lived in a larger house in Pasadena, with a spacious garden where Marcus could paint, David could play, and Hope could run and jump, a home filled with laughter and warmth. The house was always filled with laughter, love, and warmth, a place where every member felt safe and cherished. William, while still running his business empire, dedicated most of his time to his family and philanthropic activities. He established a charitable foundation named Marcus's Promise, which specialized in helping homeless families and children in need, true to Marcus's promise from that day. He believed that every child deserved a chance to thrive, to fulfill their own promise, and he dedicated his life to making that a reality. One evening, the whole family was gathered around the fireplace, the crackling of the fire creating a cozy atmosphere. Marcus, now a young man, retold the story of his fateful encounter with William at the convenience store, his voice deep and full of emotion. David, with a mischievous grin, added funny details, making the whole family laugh. Lisa, her eyes full of love, looked at William, who was holding Hope in his lap, a picture of a happy and complete family. William looked around, his heart filled with a happiness he never thought he would have. He had once been a lonely billionaire, but now he had a family, a love, and a purpose. He had found true wealth, not in money, but in these precious moments, in the laughter of his children, in the loving gaze of Lisa, in the warmth of a family. "I've paid you back, William," Marcus said, his voice deep and full of gratitude. "I've paid you back with my whole life, with everything I have today." William smiled, taking Lisa's hand, his eyes filled with love. "And I've received more than I ever could have dreamed of, Marcus. I've received a family, a love, and a complete life." Outside, snow began to fall, blanketing the rooftops and the streets, creating a magical scene. Inside, the fire in the hearth burned brightly, warming the room in their hearts, warming a happy family. It was a story of kindness, courage, and the power of love, a story that began with a little boy's simple promise and ended with a complete, meaningful life that they had all built together. Many years later, William Thompson had become a symbol of kindness and generosity, a living legend. The Marcus's Promise Foundation had grown into a powerful nonprofit organization with branches all across the country, helping thousands of homeless families and children and giving them a better life. William didn't just contribute financially. He also dedicated his time and passion to the foundation, personally participating in its activities, meeting and speaking with those they helped. He regularly took part in fundraisers, volunteer programs, and speaking engagements, sharing his own story to inspire others and encourage them to join in building a better society. With her Sweet Beginnings bakery a resounding success, Lisa expanded the business and created jobs for many women from difficult backgrounds, especially those who had faced struggles similar to her own. She also became an inspirational speaker, sharing the story of her journey of overcoming hardship and rebuilding her life. from a homeless woman to a successful entrepreneur. She frequently visited community centers, shelters, and schools, recounting her story and encouraging people to never give up hope and to always believe in a brighter future. After graduating from art school, Marcus became a renowned painter whose work was deeply humanistic. His paintings often depicted the lives of the homeless, disadvantaged children, and stories of kindness and resilience, touching the hearts of viewers. His works were not only displayed in prestigious art galleries, but were also used in campaigns to raise awareness about homelessness and social inequality. He had fulfilled his promise, not just by paying for the milk, but by giving back to society with his talent and compassion, by giving hope and a voice to the voiceless. After earning his degree in computer engineering, David founded a tech company dedicated to developing applications and software to help the less fortunate. He created an app that helped homeless individuals find shelter, food, and medical services quickly and easily. He also developed a free online education platform for children from disadvantaged backgrounds, helping them access the knowledge and skills needed to build a better future and break the cycle of poverty. David proved that technology was not just a tool for making money, but a powerful vehicle for creating positive social change, a means to build a more just world. Hope, their youngest daughter, grew up to be a passionate social activist. She studied social work and dedicated her life to fighting for the rights of the vulnerable, for those left behind. Hope regularly participated in protests, policy advocacy campaigns, and community support programs, becoming a voice for the voiceless and a hope for the hopeless. The family of William and Lisa had created a legacy of kindness, a legacy that would continue to inspire and help generations to come, an everlasting legacy. William and Lisa grew old together, but their love never faded. Instead, it grew deeper and stronger. They would still sit on the porch, watching their grandchildren run and play in the yard, the sound of children's laughter echoing through the garden, and they would retell the story of their fateful encounter, a story that had changed their lives forever. Marcus, David, and Hope, now successful adults, still visited their parents often, bringing with them stories of their work, of their own families, and of the ways they were continuing the legacy of kindness their parents had created, passing it on to the next generation. One evening, as William and Lisa sat on the porch watching the sunset paint the sky in hues of red, Lisa rested her head on William's shoulder, feeling a sense of peace and happiness. "Do you remember the day we first met?" she asked, her voice a whisper. "You thought I was some wild, confused woman, didn't you?" William chuckled softly, a laugh full of love. "And you thought I was an arrogant, distant billionaire who only cared about money, didn't you?" They laughed together, their laughter mingling and echoing in the quiet air. "We've come a long way, haven't we?" Lisa said, her voice thoughtful. "A long journey full of challenges, but also full of love." "And we walked it together, Lisa," William said, taking her hand and squeezing it. "I can't imagine what my life would have been without you and the children. You all gave me a life I never dared to dream of." Lisa squeezed his hand back. "Me too, William. I owe you everything. You gave me a new life." "You don't owe me anything, Lisa," William said, his eyes filled with love. "You gave me more than I ever could have dreamed of. You gave me a family, a purpose, and an eternal love, a love that will last forever." William and Lisa lived a full and meaningful life until they passed away in their sleep, hand in hand, peacefully and serenely. They were buried next to each other, beneath an old oak tree in the garden of their Pasadena home, the place where they had found peace and happiness, where their love had blossomed. On their headstone, Marcus had carved a simple but meaningful sentence. They built a home, not just with bricks and mortar, but with love and kindness. Their legacy lived on through their children, their grandchildren, and the thousands of people the Marcus's Promise Foundation had helped. The story of William, Lisa, Marcus, and David became a legend, a reminder that kindness has the power to change lives, that hope always exists even in the most difficult of circumstances, and that love is the most precious treasure a person can possess. And Marcus's promise, the simple promise of a little boy, had become a prophecy, a testament to the power of kindness and unconditional love, a promise that had changed the entire world. The story of Marcus, Lisa, William, and David is not merely a modern fairy tale. It is an epic of kindness, resilience, and love. It is a living testament to the power of kindness, the resilience of the human spirit, and the transformative power of love. From the simple promise of a little boy under a bridge, an empire of compassion was built, bringing hope and opportunity to thousands of people, changing their lives forever. William Thompson, a man who once knew only material wealth, found the true meaning of life in sharing, in love, and in bringing happiness to others. Lisa, a woman who once lived in fear and desperation, found the strength to heal and become a source of inspiration, a symbol of resilience. Marcus and David, children who once faced unimaginable hardship, grew up to be successful men, carrying on the legacy of kindness and service, and contributing great value to society. And Hope, the youngest daughter, stands as a symbol of a bright future, one where kindness and love will continue to blossom and spread far and wide. Their story will forever remain a reminder that even in the darkest of circumstances, the light of compassion can always shine through, guiding our way to a better future, one filled with hope and love. This is the story of a promise that changed not only the life of a young boy, but the lives of an entire family and, beyond that, an entire community. It proves that kindness, no matter how small, can create great waves of change, and that each of us has the ability to be a light for others in the darkness, bringing them hope and faith. This story is a powerful reminder that, in a world full of hardship and challenges, kindness and love remain the greatest forces, capable of healing wounds, rebuilding lives, and creating a better future for everyone, a future that all deserve. May this story inspire you, just as it inspired William, Lisa, Marcus, and David, to believe in the power of kindness and to make a difference in our world, so that your every small action can also create something great. Remember, a single act of kindness can illuminate an entire world, bringing hope and joy to those around you.